Students, today we are discussing the very important topic of your this subject, and that is about the registers and the counters. So first of all, we will see basically what the registers are, and then we will discuss about the counters. So first of all, what is registers? Basically, registers are a group of flip-flops. We use flip-flop as a 1-bit memory cell, or you may say, if we want to store 1 bit, then we use one flip-flop. But if we want to store n number of bits, that there are so many bits that we want to store, then we cannot store it in one flip-flop. So at that stage we have to use a group of flip-flops so that we can store n number of bits, that we are having a memory in which we can store n number of bits. So for this purpose we use the registers. So basically registers are the group of flip-flops. So flip-flop is a 1-bit memory cell which can be used for storing the digital data. To increase the storage capacity in terms of number of bits, we have to use a group of flip-flops. Such a group of flip-flop is known as registers. The n-bit register will consist of n number of flip-flops, and it is capable of storing an n-bit word. So basically this is the main concept of registers. You can also define it as, basically register is a group of flip-flops. Its basic function is to hold information within our digital system so as to make it available to the logic units during the computing process. That if we are using any kind of computation, then whenever we need any kind of data, we need any kind of information, then we can use it, and in order to this we have to store more and more bits, so we use the registers there. However, a register may also have additional capabilities that are associated with it. Various types of registers are available on the market. A simple 4-bit register that is shown here. Here you see, basically here we are having D flip-flop, and from here you may see this, here we are using the 4 D flip-flops. So basically when we have to store, here we are storing the 4 bits in a group of flip-flops. Here one more thing that you may notice, that here we are applying a clock pulse, and this clock pulse is applied to all the flip-flops that are present here. So same clock pulse is applied to all the flip-flops, as here the in this data flip-flop, in this D flip-flop, one input is the I0, here the clock pulse, and this clock pulse is as it is to the next one, and then the next, and then the next. So the same clock pulse is applied here. Here one more thing, that is the clock clear. Clock clear means if you want to clear the register, if you want to clear the register to make it 0, so we use the clock clear here. So this is basically a register is, you may see this is basically a group of flip-flops that we are using the 4 flip-flop here in order to increase the memory, in order to store more and more bits. So here you see the common clock input that triggers all the flip-flops, and the binary data available at the 4 inputs are transferred into the register. The clear input is useful for clearing the register to all zeros out. Now comes towards the counters, that what are the counters? Basically counters are also registers, but how does it work? It means that when we are discussing the counters, then basically we are discussing the flip-flops, but the flip-flops that are in the group. So as that from the word counter, so it means it is used to count. So now the question is this, what it is counting? So it may be counting from 0, 1, 2, 3, or it may be counting from 3 to 4. That it's all depends upon the designing that you are doing, from where you are going to start your counting. You may start your counting from 0 to 9, or you may start your counting from 5 to 9. Similarly, you may have a counter from 9 to 0. So it all depends upon the design procedure. So what kind of counter that you are using. So a counter is simply a register with combinational logic to implement counting. That is, it is possible to retrieve the contents, add or subtract one to the contents, and then store it back into the register in one operation. As I said, when we are doing the counting, that may be from 0 to 9, or it may be from 9 to 0. So when you are counting from 0 to 9, so basically you are increasing it, you are adding one bit in each. And when you are counting from 9 to 0, then basically you are subtracting. That's how you will get it in the descending order. So basically a counter is, it counts, and from where it start counting and at what point it ends up, it all depends upon the design procedure. So basically counters are the sequential circuits. Why we are saying it is the sequential circuits? Because it consists of the registers, it consists of the flip-flops. That's why we are saying it is a sequential circuit. So a digital circuit, you may define it as that in which that is used for counting the pulses that we are applying from the clock. So that is known as the counter. Counter is the widest application of flip-flops. It is a group of flip-flops with a clock signal applied. So here you see it is a group of flip-flops, so it means it is registers also. Counters are of two types. First one is the asynchronous or ripple counters, and the second one is the synchronous counters. Now here we are having the two types of counter, and these two types of counters basically we can differentiate it with respect to the clock pulse that is applied to them. So that's how we can differentiate it. So let's define it. So first of all, basically what is the synchronous counter? In synchronous counter, only one clock input that is given to all the flip-flops, that is known as the synchronous counter. And this is basically the example of this circuit where we have discussed it while we were discussing the registers here. So this is basically the synchronous counter. Here you see this one clock pulse is applied to all the flip-flops. So such type of counters are known as the synchronous counters. So in synchronous counters, only one clock input is given to all the flip-flops, whereas in asynchronous counter, the output of the flip-flop is the clock signal from the nearby one. It means that we apply the clock pulse to the first flip-flop, and then the output of the first flip-flop will be the clock pulse of the second flip-flop. Similarly, the output of the second flip-flop will be the clock signal for the third flip-flop. So in asynchronous counter, the output matters. The output of the flip-flop, it matters as it becomes the clock pulse of the next one, of the nearby one. So that is the asynchronous counter. So now we will discuss about these types of counters. So first we will discuss the asynchronous counter, and as we have discussed this, that in asynchronous counter, the output of the first one counter becomes the clock signal of the second one counter. Here you see this, we are having two JK flip-flops. This is the first one flip-flop and this is the second flip-flop. Here to the first one flip-flop, the clock pulse is applied, while to the second flip-flop, we are having the clock pulse that is the output of the first one flip-flop. Here one more thing, you see that here two signs are here. First one is this arrow and second one is this bubble. This basically, this arrow shows that here the flip-flop, the transition state is occurring, or you may say that the triggering is occurring at the edge triggering. While we are having the edge triggering, then this flip-flop will be triggered. So basically, as we have discussed in the last lecture, the basic difference between the latch and the flip-flop is this, The flip-flop is basically the edge triggered, while the latch is the level triggered memory units. So here this sign is showing that this is the edge triggered flip-flops. And second thing is this, the bubble is here, so it means that it is the falling edge triggered, that the transition occurs when there will be the falling edge. Here it is the falling edge. Similarly, it is the falling edge at this clock. Similarly, here it is the falling edge. So the flip-flop will be triggered at these points, or when it will be, how we can say this, from here you can see, here we are having at both inputs we are having high logic, here and here too. So it means here we are applying at the flip-flop number 1, the J is 1 and K is also 1, and at the second one here again 1 and 1. And remember the truth table for the JK flip-flop, that when both inputs are high, then at output toggling occurs. So first we get 0, then 1, then 0, 1, 0, 1. It means that toggling is occurring here. So when we discuss the first flip-flop, here the Q0 is mentioning the output of first flip-flop, and Q1 is mentioning here the output of the second flip-flop. This Q, that is the Q0, and this Q, that is the Q1. So first we will discuss the Q0. So now let's consider that when we are having 1 and 1 here, let's suppose the Q0 is 0. So here you see this, the Q0 is 0. Now the change will occur when there is the falling edge. So when falling edge is here, then change will occur. So as the toggling is occurring here, so it means the next will be the complement of this, and the complement of 0 will be 1. So that's why 1 is here. Now again, where the falling edge is here. So now again the transition will occur. So again toggling, so 1, 0, as there was 1, now 0 is here. Now at the next falling edge, again toggling occur, so here we will get the 1. So basically this occurs when we will discuss the Q0, the output of the first one flip-flop. Now this Q0, we will consider it as the clock for the second one, for the second flip-flop, that this output Q0, now we will consider it as the clock for the second flip-flop. And one more thing, that see here, for this the falling edge was this here, then we will have it here, then we will have it here. But for this Q1, now the clock pulse is Q0. So what is the falling edge of it? Here it is the falling edge of it, and this is also the falling edge of it. So transition will occur here. So let's suppose that the Q1 we are having the low output, that we are having 0. So here we are having 0, and when the falling edge is here, the transition will occur here. So as toggling is occurring, so 0, the complement of 0 will be 1. Now transition is here, so again this one, complement of this one will be 0, so here we are having the 0. So here Q0 will be considered as the clock for this Q1, for the output of this JK flip-flop. So this all is explained here in the next slides, that the exterior clock is connected to the clock input of the flip-flop 0, that is the first flip-flop only. So this flip-flop changes the state at the decreasing edge of every clock pulse. But the flip-flop number 1, the second one we are saying FF1, it changes only when activated by the decreasing edge of the Q output of FF0. Because of the integral propagation delay through a FF, the change of the input clock pulse and a change of the Q output of FF0 can never occur at precisely the same time. So the so both flip-flops, they cannot be activated concurrently, generating an asynchronous operation. That is the drawback here. Now note that for ACE, the changes of Q0, Q1 and clock in the above diagram are shown as concurrent, even though this is an asynchronous counter. Actually there is a small delay between the Q0, Q1 and the clock changes. Generally all the clear inputs are connected together, so before counting starts, then that a single pulse can clear all the flip-flops. The clock pulse fed into the flip-flop FF0 is rippled through the new counters after propagation delay, such as the ripples on the water, hence the term ripple counter. That's why we say it's a ripple counter. Now the circuit diagram of the 2-bit ripple counter, it includes the 4 different states. Why the 4 different states? As we have the combination 00, 01, 10 and 11. That's why we say this, that there are the 4 different states, each one consisting with a count value. Likewise, a counter with n flip-flops can have 2n states. The number of states in a counter is called as its mod number. Therefore, a 2-bit counter is a mod 4 counter. So now what is the synchronous counters? In this type of counters, the clock inputs of all the flip-flops are connected together and are activated by the input pulses. So all the flip-flops, it changes states instantaneously. The circuit diagram that is in the next slide, it is a 3-bit synchronous counter. So here you see this, here again we are having the JK flip-flop, but here you see this, here we are having the 3 flip-flops. And one more thing, you see this, the same clock is applied to all the flip-flops. And the second thing is this, the output of the first one flip-flop, that is going to an AND gate. Similarly, this output, that is the output of the second flip-flop, it is also going to the AND gate, and the output of this AND gate is going to the J, to the input of the last one flip-flop, that is the J, and this same output is going to the K. And this is here, first one is the FF0, second one is the FF1 and the third one is the FF2. So now in this case, the inputs J and K of flip-flop 0 are connected to high. Flip-flop 1 has its J and K inputs that are connected to the output of the FF0, and the inputs J and K of FF2 are connected to the output of an AND gate that is fed by the outputs of the FF0 and FF1. When the both of the outputs of the FF0 and FF1 are high, the positive edge of the 4th clock pulse will cause FF2 to alter its state because of the AND gate. Here in its clock diagram, you see this is the FF0 output clock, this is the FF1 and this is the FF2. So let's suppose here you see this as toggling is occur, because when both inputs are high, then the toggling occur. So let's suppose at previous we are having 1, then toggling occurs, so it changes its states. So 1 0, then again 1 0. So at the second we are having this output, and for the last one we are having this. So the series of the 3-bit counter table that was given below, I have discussed the clock pulses here. The major advantage of these counters is that there is no increasing time delay because all flip-flops are activated in parallel, because all are having the same clock. Thus the maximum operating frequency of this synchronous counter will be considerably higher than for the equivalent ripple counter. So this was all about the counters, in which we have simply discussed the 2 types of the counters. One more thing is this, the types of the synchronous and asynchronous counter. Basically we are having the 3 types of these counters. First one is the up counter, in which the countings is 0 1 2 3 4, that addition occurs. Second one is the down counter, that may be the 7 6 5 4, that the subtraction is occurring here. And the last one is the up down counter, that we will discuss in detail in the next lecture. So this was all about the counters. So if you have any question, any query regarding it, then you may discuss it with me. during the question answer session, and also try to read it out from your book, and because you can understand much more things from your book, and any query, any questions, that will be entertained in that session. Thank you.